How's it going, everyone? My name's Oscar Moneyball, and I am going to be sharing with you guys my match predictions using my match simulator for the Major League Soccer games this weekend, the MLS match day number 7 for this 2024 season. Super excited as this is my very first video related to the MLS, and I've been working on this for a while. Now, this match simulator isn't nothing state of the art here. It's a basic spreadsheet where I input data manually and it gathers data such as goals, expected goals, blah blah blah, and it gives us home form, away form, attacking strength at home, defensive strength at home, attacking strength away, defensive strength away, and compiles that to give us these results. Some of you guys that are already into data analytics may be familiar with a lot of these metrics or familiar with how their spreadsheet works. However, there's a lot of us here that would enjoy this type of content, as I myself was not able to find similar content to this anywhere, which is why I make videos for the English Premier League with the same spreadsheet, Liga MX, Eredivisie, and other European top 5 leagues. Very excited to get this thing started with you guys and be here week in and week out as this spreadsheet gives us better and better results, and then it starts improving. Now again, it's very young. The MLS season is also very young. There's teams like Montreal that haven't played at home. I believe they've been only playing away, so there's no real data for us to get their home form, and it's gonna be a while until we get that type of data. There's also teams that don't play this weekend. They have like bye weeks, and that also delays the progress, so which is why it's taking us up until match day 7, where I feel confident to at least share with you guys these results. Don't just take them for what they are. It's entertainment, it's a tool. Don't go and betting your life savings, as the results and the probabilities that I will be sharing are sort of tailored towards people that like to bet. Now, I don't bet myself. However, if there's any type of content that you'd like me to share, leave it in the comments, whether you want me to predict like possession, shots on goal, whatever. You know, we could do that here. I just want to kind of keep it very basic and move this video forward as fast as possible, because compared to other leagues, the MLS does have a lot of games per weekend. I believe they have 14 matches, and it can get extensive. So we'll be going one by one on all these, and share this with your homies. You know, hopefully you use this as a tool, and hopefully we make an impression, right? Because the MLS fan base is growing every day, and I'd like to grow with it. So let's get this thing started. Right, that works. Let's move this away. First game of the weekend, we have Philadelphia Union versus Minnesota United. Expected goals based off our simulator. Ooh, good coffee. We have Philadelphia 1.3 goals versus Minnesota United 2.0. The win probability is in favor for Minnesota at 52% versus 25% for Philadelphia Union. Over 0.5 goals for Philadelphia is at 68%. Meanwhile, for Minnesota United, we are at 83%. The over 1.5 goals for Philadelphia is at 35%. Meanwhile, Minnesota, we have 56%. Still very young into the season. I don't want to give my takes on what I think just yet, because I haven't been able to watch every team. However, Minnesota United ended the last season really strong. They're a team that I personally enjoy watching. They are working towards being a better team, and I can sort of agree with this. I can agree with this result. Let's just see how it plays out, right? It's still very young into the season, and let's just take it one game at a time, as we like to say. Next match, Colorado Rapids versus LAFC. Very low expected goals here, as we see Colorado has 0.7 goals and LAFC 0.6. Kind of ridiculous. Now, if this ends 0-0, I'd be surprised, but I don't think so. We'll see how it goes. But the win probability is in favor for Colorado Rapids at the moment, based off home and away form. Again, not enough data here to give us a certain confident answer, but win probability 35% for Colorado, 26% for LAFC. The over 0.5 is in favor again for the home team, with 48% versus 35% for LAFC. The over 1.5 sort of doesn't really make sense here yet. Not sure how LAFC has a higher percentage to score over 1.5 goals, but it is very possible. We have 14% for Colorado, 17% for LAFC. I personally feel like LAFC will be taking this game. It is sort of like I guess you can call it like a new team. Not really, right? But they don't have the same players lined up that they did last season. They don't have the same players in rotation. As a matter of fact, a lot of the players that are in that starting LAFC team are players that were not riding the bench, but they were either really good subs or they were part of the rotation. So they're there, right? They know how they play, and they have really strong players. They don't just have okay players. They have players that know how to play. They have a really good attacking strength, I feel like. So I don't think that these results that my simulator is spitting out, at least for now, for Matchday 7, correlate with what I expect happening. However, again, let's take it one game at a time. Still young. Next match, Charlotte FC versus FC Cincinnati. Expected goals in favor for Charlotte FC, 1.1 versus 0.3. Win probability is in favor for the home team. Charlotte FC has 55% win probability versus 26% for Cincinnati. Over 0.5 goals in this match is at 65% versus 23%. Over 1.5 goals is at 29% versus 9%. Charlotte FC at home, very strong team. Tend to be stronger at home. FC Cincinnati, I mean, you can't disregard this team. This is a really good team. They don't have Brandon Vasquez, but they still have Lucas Acosta. One game at a time, baby. One game at a time. Let's move forward. DC United versus FC Montreal. Now, FC Montreal, they've been playing all their games away, so this is showing a ridiculous expected goal for both of them. DC United is at 2.6 expected goals in this game versus 3.3 for FC Montreal. The win probability is at 27% versus 41%. Over 0.5, 75% versus 78%. And over 1.5, 57% versus 66%. FC Montreal has been playing, I believe, as I mentioned earlier, all their games away. I would trust this one a little bit more. I believe DC United has also been playing a lot of home games. So this feels right. This one feels a little bit better. Now, the margin for the draw is still very high, since they're leaving about 40 plus 20, 60. They're leaving about 32% for a draw there that anybody can take. We'll see how this match goes, one game at a time. Let's just see how Montreal does. DC United is also an entertaining team to watch. It's a new season. Season's still young. Again, let's let these games play out, and we'll be a little bit more confident in a couple weeks. Inter Miami versus New York City FC. We have Inter Miami expected to win this match. Expected goals 2.2 versus 0.3. Win probability in favor for the home team, 79% versus 4%. The over 0.5 goals in this match, 86% versus 21%. The over 1.5 goals in this match is 62% versus 5%. It looks like New York City is just making a trip to Miami because they have to, but based off these results, where Inter Miami has a lot more games, I think has one more game than everybody else, does give us a pretty good it gives me a good feeling that this could happen. I do expect Inter Miami to take this game. Maybe Messi will be back. I haven't really kept up on that, but if he's back, for sure. For sure. Next match, Orlando City versus New York Red Bulls. Expected goals for this match, 1.3 versus 0.7. Win probability in favor for Orlando, 51% versus 20 for New York Red Bulls. The over 0.5 goals in this match, Orlando is expected to score, 71% for that goal to go in, 41% for New York Red Bulls to score 1 goal in this match. The over 1.5 goals is at 37% for Orlando, 14 for New York Red Bulls. Again, let's see how this one goes. Two teams that are trying to get started. New York Red Bulls has been playing pretty good this season. They have a strong team, strong youth players. They are very defensively strong, so could be a sort of boring game. Orlando's struggling to score and to at least get a positive result. They have been having a shaky start to this season. Let's just make sure that we take it one game at a time, right? It's still early. Next match, Toronto FC versus Sporting Kansas City. Expected goals are very low here. We have Toronto expected goals of 0.8 versus 0.1 for Sporting Kansas City. Win probability 47% versus a shocking 4% for Kansas City. Over 0.5, 51% versus 10%. The over 1.5 is 19% versus 1%. Yikes, that is low. Again, take it for what it is. Still very early in the season. Let's see how that goes. Toronto FC, I've been seeing a lot of videos. Haven't really watched any other games, but it looks like the two Italians are having fun. They're just playing the ball with each other. I had to say that correctly because that would have sounded weird. But they look like they're having fun. It sort of reminded me like Kicking and Screaming. The two Italians just having fun on the field, dominating the pitch. So I could see Toronto winning this game. They definitely need it. I know we joke, we in the United States tend to joke a lot about Canadians, but I really enjoy that the new head coach for Toronto. He used to be the head coach for the national team. I enjoy his strategy. I enjoy his energy. I enjoy what he says in the press. I think it's a perfect fit for Toronto FC, and having the players that he has and the experience that he has, I can expect Toronto to gain some momentum, especially with the shitty season that they had last year. Austin FC versus FC Dallas. Little Texas Classico right there. Expected goals 0.8 for Austin FC. FC Dallas 0.9. Win probability 31% versus 34% for FC Dallas. Over 0.5 goals in this match, 55% versus 58%. The over 1.5 goals, 20% versus 25%. Austin FC at home last year were really bad. Really bad. So I can see this trend happening. I also think that they had enough time during the off season to make some work and adjust that home strength, that home form. And FC Dallas, though, they're more of a consistent team. They did sign some really interesting players this recent break. I can see them winning this match. It shows it to be a very close game, which it might be. It could be a game where they go blow to blow, 2-2, 2-1, whatever. It could be a game where it's like last minute goal, or Austin FC score a goal or holding on to the score for a long time. Maybe FC Dallas late, ties it up late or whatever. It could go either way. I just know that this is going to be a really entertaining game because it's two teams from Texas. That right there, it's just like the little rivalries, right? You need those rivalries to start flourishing. Next match, we have Houston Dynamo versus San Jose Earthquakes. I believe these are the same teams. If you remember correctly, Houston Dynamo was the San Jose Earthquakes before they turned into Houston Dynamo. Just stupid shit right there. But Houston Dynamo expected goals 0.9 versus San Jose Earthquakes 1.0. Now, stomp the brakes. Yep, I'm a fan of the Earthquakes. They did have a really good game against Seattle. They showed improvement. They started a different lineup that looked a little bit more dynamic. They looked fun. You know, they were passing the ball around, moving around. It wasn't the consistent Ibobasi dropping in and trying to hold on to the ball and having the progressing forward through Cristian Espinosa or Pellegrino or Benji Kikanovic. It was different. It was Jude being the route for them to go forward. He was making more runs instead of Ibobasi's dropping in. They just looked fun. It looked like a different team. And although Houston Dynamo have been winning games through the under, they're like really good at, you know, just holding a clean sheet and scoring the one goal that they need and just letting the game go out. Houston Dynamo, I believe, is stronger than the Earthquakes. Not just I believe, right? Like the previous results have been showing that. So if the Earthquakes could take this result, that'd be great, right? That'd be really good. Again, though, this match simulator is still young, so there isn't enough data to collect from both San Jose Earthquakes having, I believe, only 1 or 2 away games. And I'm not sure how many Houston Dynamo has at home. But this is a good Western Conference game. We have expected goals of 0.9 for Houston Dynamo, San Jose Earthquakes 1.0. The win probability 33% versus 35%. The over 0.5 goals is at 59% for Houston, 62% for the Earthquakes. The over 1.5 goals is at 24% for Houston Dynamo, 25% for the Earthquakes. These are two very low scoring teams. At home, the Earthquakes have been receiving an average of 2 goals per game and scoring an average of 1 goal per game. The Earthquakes away, I think, average about a goal per game, even including last season. And Houston Dynamo has just been really solid. We'll see how the game plays out. I'm giving this game too much time in this video, but I'm just really excited about the Earthquakes. Next match, Nashville SC versus Columbus Crew. Wow, that's going to be a good game. We have Nashville expected goals of 0.9, Columbus Crew 1.1. Win probability is 33% versus 38%. The over 0.5 is 58% versus 59%. The over 1.5 is 23% versus 29%. What do I think about this match? Columbus Crew has to do what they got to do, right? They got to continue to defend and show why they're the best team at the moment, why they were the best team last season against a Nashville team that I consider to be offensively strong, solid in the midfield, and okay in the back, and a Columbus Crew that's just solid in all of their 3 lines. The better players are going to make the difference. Who has the better players? That's subjective, but in my opinion, I think Columbus Crew could take this match. Next match, we have Real Salt Lake versus St. Louis City. Wow. Expected goals 2.5 versus 2.3 for St. Louis. Really good game. This is going to be an interesting game. 39% win probability for the home team, Real Salt Lake, versus 35% win probability for St. Louis City. The over 0.5 goals, both have a really high percentage probability to score that one goal. Maybe both teams to score here would be a good one. 84% for Real Salt Lake versus 83% for St. Louis City. 63% for the over 1.5, 61% for the over 1.5 for the away team. Fun game. This is going to be a game that I think I'll be watching for sure. LA Galaxy versus Seattle Sounders. Wow, another high scoring game here. LA Galaxy expected goals 3.0 versus Seattle Sounders FC 2.5. Expected goals. Win probability for LA Galaxy is 42% versus 29% for Seattle Sounders. Over 0.5 goals, 82% for LA Galaxy, 79% for Seattle Sounders. The over 1.5 goals, 68% for the home team, 60% for the away team. This one, I can chime in on this one. Let me take a sip. I've been watching pretty much all of LA Galaxy games, mostly because they've been really good games. They played against Inter Miami. Of course, you had to watch that. Played against San Jose. Watch that. What was at the game? I was at the game. And the last game I didn't see, but I didn't have to see it. I just knew that they were gonna be getting the result that they got. The three players that they have up top, Paintsil, the striker, I forgot his name, but LA Galaxy does not look like what they looked like last season. This team looks really solid, really good. Their players are syncing up. They're fast. They're dynamic. They have a really good. They don't have a really good midfield. They have a midfield that does what they need to do, which is get the ball forward and let the three players up top do what they do, and then the rest of the team follows. But that Japanese player on the right back, my God, him and Paintsil are the best players I've seen on the right side at the moment. They are so good, so good. I believe I was reading somewhere, I read somewhere that this Japanese player in the right back was consistently in the top, like he was one of the top players for the J1 league, which is the Japanese league. And he has his homie there in the center back, that the Japanese center back, captain of the Japanese team. Really good team. Really good team, LA Galaxy, even though I'm an Earthquakes fan. Now, what do I think about this game? Where do I think Seattle will play there? I don't know if Seattle will be able to score 2 goals. It shows here that, it's going to be a really high-scoring game. I think Seattle versus the Earthquakes they had a lot of injuries, so they weren't able to play their best players. But LA Galaxy has form, whether it's away or home. I know LA Galaxy is going to score some goals. Seattle Sounders looked really good in the second half against the Quakes, but it was mostly because the Quakes subbed out their best players really early into the second half, allowing for that development of game and for Seattle to just take over. Now, Seattle looked really, even though they were playing against the Quakes, they were still, even with the weaker team, they were still able to have possession, build up play, go forward. Historically, Seattle's been a good team. I think both teams will score in this game. LA Galaxy should win this game, and if they don't, then that'll be the real upset right there. Moving on to the next game, Vancouver Whitecaps versus Portland Timbers. We see here expected goals of 0.6 versus 1.4 in favor for Portland. The win probability also in favor for Portland, 16% for the home team versus 55% for the away team. Over 0.5 goals in this match is 45% versus 74%. Over 1.5 goals in this match for Vancouver is 12% versus 39%. Portland Timbers just signed an amazing player coming from Club America, who I'm a huge fan of. Is he what Portland needed? Yeah, I think so. I think Portland needed a DP that could score goals, that could play striker, that could play on the wings. I think that Portland will be using him in a striker position, which is where he does his best. I think America kept him on the wings, and he did good. However, he does better as a striker. He's not a striker, but this guy does not take shots that don't go on target. If they do, they're skimming the post. This guy has an instinct to score. So, Portland Timbers, congratulations. You got an amazing player. Keep it up. He was able to score in his debut. Vancouver Whitecaps are a really good team. I think they have a solid team. So this should be an even game, even though it's showing a big discrepancy between both of these teams. We'll see how the game plays out. The last game of the weekend is Atlanta United versus Chicago FC. We have Atlanta United at home, expected goals 2.5, versus Chicago away, expected goal 0.7. The win probability is in favor for Atlanta, 70% versus 10%. Over 0.5 goals, 86% versus 49%. Over 1.5 goals, 65% versus 16%. I don't know what to say. Atlanta at home, I'm sure they're strong, but that Atlanta United squad does not feel or resemble anything that I'm used to seeing in Atlanta. You know, maybe they're running out of money to buy, really good players, or I don't know what it is, but they started off really strong, and I don't know. I just don't know what to say about them. I look at their squad, and it doesn't give me a good feeling of like, okay, these guys are good. Now, keep in mind, I also haven't seen any games of them this season, but it just is what it is. Chicago FC, we'll see how they end up performing. Game is supposed to be going for Atlanta, in Atlanta's favor. Let's just see how it plays out. I'm very excited though to continue to add data into this spreadsheet. I'm excited to just continue developing and creating this content for all you guys that like this type of content. If you made it this far, I really appreciate your time, and I appreciate the fact that you are considering to support my channel. So I will continue to make these videos for all you guys. Enjoy. If you do bet responsibly. Let me know in the comments what kind of data you'd like me to predict for each of these matches. It doesn't have to be betting content. It's just what I track, I guess. I don't know. But let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Let me know if you guys want to see these types of videos, or if there's other things that you guys want me to do. Let me know. Enjoy your weekend. Hug your loved ones. Drink some water. Drink a beer. Drink some coffee. Enjoy that the European leagues and soccer throughout the world has returned, and there's no more international soccer. Let's go.